Let's get the hell out of here.
All right, I cannot be in this car anymore.
Elysium bed and breakfast.
You looking for the B&B? There's another half mile. You can't miss it. Leave? Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh my God, he's coming now! So he wants to make a suit out of our skin.
You guys okay? We'll take care of you. My name's Wayne, by the way. I'm a nudist.
Oh, yes, we noticed your penis earlier.
Touche!
All these people live here. This is a commune.
We prefer an intentional community. We're not a bunch of hippies sitting around playing guitar.
Hippies, boy, gotta love a hippie, man. They got
No, you don't.
Yeah, they do that. Don't you
think they do.
They got it right because they like they're open minded. They sit around and just smoke weed all day. They'll fuck anybody and anything. Hey, look, who doesn't want that?
Yeah, you know what?
Me, somebody who likes deodorant,
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I will understand what these guys are talking about. We're like, oh, that all sounds great. Until one of them goes, hey, man, you want to hear this song I wrote? Run! That shit is going to go on for 8 hours.
So everybody gives hippies a bad name. And
Hippies give themselves a bad name.
no, see, that's that kind of mentality that's got to stop. All this hippie racism that y'all got. Y'all need to.
The thing is, they have a lot of the right ideas. They just take it too far.
Of all the crazy things that we're talking about hippies is in this movie. I mean, the movie is very stereotypical in its approach to the hippie culture. But what I liked about this film is that it didn't make fun of them as much as I thought it would. It's actually sort of a fair film, if you ask me, which is why I'm really surprised at how broad and bad some of the humor got in this later on.
It's so give and take with that because at times you're like, they're really making these hippie characters out to be human and even likable, but then it'll turn around on a dime that feels like a very Judd Apatow moment, which he is one of the producers, to like, okay, you guys just improv and make some shit up, and they keep in stuff that just doesn't make sense. Wait, a minute ago, that guy seemed like a normal person, and now he's saying completely irrational, asinine, just asshole-ish stuff. And those are those moments that it just takes you right out. Go, well, that wasn't funny, and it made me realize I'm just watching a dumb movie.
Yeah,
Well, see, y'all diving in on all the negative stuff, but the fact is, I felt like more of the jokes worked than didn't. I mean, because some of the jokes worked so well, the ones that didn't stood out. But they do pull back on these hippies. There's so many really over-the-top hippie jokes that they could go with that I've seen other movies just run into the ground. And this one knows how to pull it back enough to where you go with it for most of it. Toward the end, and maybe it's a bit much. It goes a little too long. But up until that point, I'm like, you know what? This is within the realm of reason.
It's a very broad movie overall with every kind of character that they have in here. I mean, whether you have hippies or whether you have people from the upper middle class, corporate people. I mean, everybody is sort of a caricature in this movie. And for the most part, that works because one of the things that I do love about this movie is Paul Rudd. And I like the way he acts with Jennifer Aniston. Now, you said Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd at one time were they acted together on Friends. Yeah.
Now, let's not get carried away here. I know this because I looked it up on Wikipedia.
You didn't watch it from this box set you got on your shelf?
Yeah. I managed to look it up on your shelf here.
No.
I mean, Cyrus, you are white. That automatically means you watch
That's
Friends.
mandatory for white people to watch Friends.
Racist, sir. How dare you make such a statement?
I don't think it's racist when it's true.
No, it is.
It's true. Yeah. I am the one exception to the rule. I'm like the black guy who likes mayonnaise. I'm like I'm the white guy who didn't watch Friends.
Isn't Friends like the Chronicle of white people?
It's our story. Ken Burns presents Friends.
Yeah.
No, but they were. He played for 18 episodes. Phoebe, who's Lisa Kudrow's character on there, he was her husband on there, or at least for part of that 18 episode run. So yeah, it was like, I guess part of what they're thinking casting these two together, at least on some level, is hey, Friends fans will come out and see it, which is, white people.
Well, they already have chemistry. They already have chemistry.
And they show it in this movie. They play two characters called what are their names in here? George and they have very white names, by the way. George and Linda.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, no, George and Linda. They are true yuppies. I mean, because you have the guy that's doing well for himself, has a nice corporate office job. He makes so much money that his wife gets to do dumbass shit every year.
She goes off like whatever project currently she thinks that she's rediscovered.
Oh yeah,
with.
And it seems like they're about to do well. I mean, boss likes George, and Linda is about to show a documentary to HBO about penguins with testicular cancer.
They just bought a ridiculously expensive tiny apartment.
Yeah, that's New York,
downtown New York.
Yeah,
yeah, it's got a great view.
Things are going well until all in one day, George loses his job. Linda's told to fuck off by HBO. We don't want your depressing penguin documentary.
Which is one of the funnier scenes in the movie.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It is. And so they try to sell this property back. The realtor just says, you know what, you ain't ever see that money back. You just lost everything. So they're like, oh, well, guess I got to go work for my asshole brother now. That's what George says.
Georgia.
Yeah, in Georgia. So they drive all the way down to Georgia. They move in with the brother, start to work with him. Brother's such an asshole that they remember this commune that they passed on the way, that they had to stay in that place for one night when they had car trouble. Sure, there's people walking around with no clothes on.
Yeah, you get an introduction with the a rampaging dick coming towards your face.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. Yeah,
but they're not to love.
But you know what? It's fresh air, fresh food,
fresh penis.
Yeah. When George starts having to deal with his asshole brother, he's like, you know what? I'd be better off going back to this commune. Linda's like, hey, I don't know too much about this, but I support you. You supported me with my dumbass things. Let's try this for 2 weeks. And during that time, it's interesting to see how both their perceptions of that life is going to be and how it changes for them.
And on that angle, on that element, it is interesting for at least a while, following them as they're sort of slowly slipping into this life of like going, this may be something inside of ourselves that we never realized was there. Maybe there is something to this. And as an audience member for at least a little while, I feel the movie does convince you there. You're like, okay, these seem like nice enough people. But as I mentioned earlier, it's those moments when suddenly it breaks that mantle of believability and someone just acts like a ridiculous jerk that I'm just roll my eyes and sigh for a joke that is funny, but not that funny.
Well, if we're going to be racist against white people here, this is just another...
Why not?
I mean, we already started down that path. I'm just going to continue.
It seems only fair.
Yeah, I mean, I got my complaints about this too, because this is the horror movie syndrome. I mean, you go places and you see signs telling you to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And you don't go. When you go to a hippie commune and they have no doors, even when you want to take a shit, and when you take a shit, just some strange black dude comes out of nowhere like, hey, brother, how you doing? And you know what I mean? That's the sign. That you should leave.
Corey, I don't want to hear that from you, because you just espouse the virtues of all the free pussy you're going to get there. So there ain't no way missing a door is going to stop you.
Well, that's different, because I don't go there to get it. They come to my place. I don't go to a commune.
Sure they do.
Like, when the challenge is gone, there's no chase. What's the point?
Here's the challenge, though, because I know what he liked, because Justin Theroux, who's Seth, the leader of everybody at the commune,
who is great, I think, in the movie.
Yeah, because when they're first there, when they're just there as tourists, man, he's totally cool. You're like, hey, you know what? As hippies go, this guy's all right. But once they're part of the commune, then he's like, all right, Jennifer Aniston, I want a little piece of that for myself. So he spends the entire movie undermining Paul Rudd. Yeah. And I know a player like you was probably really enjoying that, not taking notes.
Let me tell you, the alpha and the omega male.
No. Look, that was totally wrong and shitty what he did, but I admire his style.
I saw Corey taking notes during the movie with his light pen,
because it's so cool the way that one of the things that I like about it is that, like I said, Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston, they really do have a good chemistry at the beginning of the movie. You can tell that they work together and they're friends, and no pun intended by the way, and that they, there's even a montage in the beginning of the movie where they're on the road, and I hate montages, but they really make it fun. And when they get to the commune, it starts to wear on those characters as far as their marriage goes. Even though that's where the movie began to kind of decline for me, I did find it funny how when, Seth would come up and just start arguments with them, and in a real cool way, tell me how you feel, Linda. And she was just like, you know what, my husband's an asshole. He doesn't support me.
How did Paul make you feel when he completely put you down just then?
And then they start arguing, and then he just sits quietly, and you just see his eyes. I'm like, yes, yes.
That was what Charlie Manson did. You know that, right? He did that same thing.
Charles Manson is badass, by the way. I laughed very hard at the beginning of the movie. And when I say the beginning, I'm talking about like the first hour. Not only did you have these hippies that were funny, but like co-host, you were talking about like the brother of
the brother who is like
Ken Marino. Is that his name?
Ken Marino.
Ken Marino.
Ken Marino. Yeah, that guy was amazing. He was the only guy I could really relate to in the movie, because he was such a hardcore dick that I was like, wow, somebody who's speaking some sense here. I was.
Sense. Well, the beauty of him is that
he was a man's man.
He plays it as such an extreme asshole. He's over the top, but still funny. But so much so that the idea of going to that commune and even staying there against what you say, like anybody would leave. But when you think like, okay, my only alternative is to go back to my brother's house, it's like, fuck, I'll just shit with people watching. I don't care. I'll deal with it.
I was praying to God that the brother would end up going to that commune and just unleashing a Godzilla type wrath on those people.
Just set hippies on fire.
That would have been even more entertaining. Yeah.
His hippie vision eye.
They would have just gave him some ayahuasca tea and watch him fly off of a tree.
Right. He's so over the top that a small dose was perfect. And you're right, he serves his purpose by saying, well, shit, nobody would have gone back to that house.
Yeah, and
I would have.
Partially because the relationship with his wife in there, and I forget the actress's name. But
yeah, I don't know her name.
She was so funny, where she's like, clearly, she's just broken. She's just sitting there drinking margaritas all day from her Sky Mall machine.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Cyrus. Drinking from her Sky Mall machine. That guy did nothing wrong to her.
Look, he got her that nice margarita machine to drink all day, got a nice medication, you know what I mean? Come on. That guy's an awesome guy.
And he slept with other women to give her a break.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart he was.
Her a break.
Yeah, boy, him and Charles Manson, boy, some good guys.
I worry about all of you.
But even even with the hippies themselves, I mean, you go there, they got these actors just come in and make it funny. A lot of them you've seen in things like The State and Reno 911 and
damn it! It was a show with Michael Ian Black and Michael Showalter and the other guy. I forgot, but everybody in this cast
like
are veterans of Comedy Central.
Truglio,
yeah.
Well, we said Ken Marino, Jordan Peele, Patricia French,
Children's Hospital. A lot of them came from there. Also.
Yeah, exactly.
Malin Ackerman.
I really like Lauren Ambrose in this, who has a smaller role.
Man, I was so upset that they didn't give her more to do. I was just so happy to see her.
She's such a great actress, and she plays such a wide variety of types of roles, and this is unlike anything else.
Yeah,
she did
exactly.
At all. But she's a riot in it. She's married to the one black guy in the whole movie, and she constantly is pointing out lovingly that he's black, which is such an obvious joke on hippies right there.
Right.
Like, this is my husband. He's African American.
I love him as if he was of my own color. You know, I've heard that plenty of times. But you know,
We know.
But I'll give my 40 acres and some ass right now. But you know, in Alan Alda, you bring out an alumni like that who I love that guy.
I loved him in this. Actually,
yeah, he's great. And there's scenes in here where they actually, out of all these exaggerated characters, there's scenes with him where he seems like the most real person, and it works.
Just remember, money buys nothing.
Well, nothing important, right?
No. Money literally buys nothing.
I think you mean metaphorically.
No, literally, nothing.
Literally, money buys most things.
No, nothing. Right? Are you saying that?
No,
well, I'm saying that literally,
I'm saying literally money buys nothing. I don't know what
it buys nothing.
You're right. Money pays for nothing.
That's right.
Now, out of all these good things that are going on, it's about an hour in that the movie loses track of what it is. It's not about this couple having to adjust to this new life and probably having their marriage broken apart about it. It becomes more about, oh, you know what? Here come and I was saying, man, the only thing that would make this just more of a cliche is if the big corporate guys came in and tried to build a casino.
And
guess what?
Did you actually say casino? Did you think that?
Yes.
Because I just thought like casino. I was like, wow, why'd they pull out casino of all different things? Usually it's a mall or a parking lot or condos.
Because who
but usually it's condos because everybody wants
that
space.
would have been one. I guess
casino took me by surprise.
I guess I wasn't. Go ahead.
Oh, well, that hits you in the back of the head because it's all of a sudden you realize that, oh, here's the default plot. The real plot that was there the entire time that they just didn't even bother to focus on, which they should have, and that's the fact that Jennifer Aniston still refuses to take off her fucking clothes for the camera.
There we go.
Because I'm serious. I mean, it seems like since she's made this somewhat comeback after her dealing with Brad, like now she's using her
12
films.
years ago.
She's using her films to like have some way of trying to reconnect with Brad by, having her wear lingerie in every goddamn movie she's in and pretending like we're about to see some tits. And then when we finally think we're going to see it, it gets fucking blurred out.
Look,
and I'm like, you know how much money they're spending on CGI
Co-host.
to cover up your tits?
Co-host, look, within the
you.
context of the film where they blurred it, that would have made less sense if they hadn't blurred it.
Plus,
right
you
there.
shouldn't get your movie news from The Star, okay?
Where do you
not
get it from?
accurate.
I mean,
Yeah, her and Brad Pitt have been together in 12 years. Why are you still talking about that?
And co-host, let me tell you something, man. I'm older now. I'm I'm not that childish anymore that I need to see breast in movies, especially from an accomplished actress like Jennifer Aniston. But I will say she needs to quit cock teasing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
There's a thing out there called the internet where you can see tits for free anytime you want.
Exactly. I just don't care that much. You want to see tits? I'll show you some tits. Check this out.
Now put your shirt back on.
But, you know, it's that, and it's just that they also allow these characters to start ad-libbing in certain areas of the movie where it doesn't work. And the movie takes up a lot of time doing that. I mean, there's scenes where Paul Rudd is standing in front of a mirror and he's ad-libbing a lot, and that's just unnecessary. I mean, it really doesn't lend itself to the plot anymore. By the way, the plot is aimless about this point anyway. This just steers it more, of course.
That's a scene that should have been included at the end credits where they show you all the jokey moments.
It's one of those Judd Apatow signatures that's like, man, that is one part of your signature that you need to cut off.
Yeah, I was like, watch Cannonball Run. Notice how they put all that bullshit at the very end of the credit.
I mean, like 3 attempts would have been fine to get the point across and move on, and they let him go about 23.
Oh, and to see that, it was embarrassing. It made me cringe, and I love Paul Rudd. I would tell people, do not cast Paul Rudd as Hitler because you will like Hitler by the end of the movie. It'd be like, damn, I don't understand what's wrong with him.
I think you said it though at some point where that just it kind of undermines what that character is,
and it made me dislike that actor and that character because it's not even that character anymore.
There's no way you dislike Paul Rudd.
Well, no, and then when he's in that scene, he's not that character anymore. He is Paul Rudd, the actor, ad-libbing. I'm taken out of that character. I'm taken out the movie. And it's one thing to be taken out of the film. It's one thing to be embarrassed by it. And I'm like, man, just stop.
Well, the problem there is that you've got like all these other characters around Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston that are absurdist. They're supposed to be like bigger than life and kind of screwy. They're supposed to be the tentpole characters that we actually care about what happens to them and want to see them move on with their lives in the right way. When he suddenly breaks that and goes into this totally other guy who's nothing like the guy we've seen for the whole rest of the film for no good reason, the whole movie stops dead. Yeah,
and as much as I like Jennifer Aniston, that character that they created for her, I hated her by the middle of the movie. I'm sorry, she's a stone cold bitch. I mean, she's got a man that supports her with all the dumb shit she wants to do. You know, he pays for everything for her, moves her around. You know, is patient. And then when they go to this commune, not only her but all these goddamn hippies are gonna say, this is your fault.
But that's the point. That's what made that whole scene funny. The fact that they would completely turn everything
Ain't nothing funny about that shit. Let it happen to you. Will you laugh? You think it's funny?
This is hitting a little too close to home.
I know.
Damn it.
That's what I love about these. Like the times that you get passionate about certain characters, when I can see like that character was within you, and you don't even see it. All you do is react.
You can actually name the woman he was thinking of when he was watching this movie.
I'm glad you say that because I'm about to slip him and say I would never do my man like that.
But if you guys would ever be with a woman for longer than a week, a lot of this would make more sense.
Why would you want to be with somebody longer than a week?
Why would I want to do that when it leads to that? What's appealing about that?
Hey, you try to eat the same sandwich for 8 days. All right, you tell me how that goes for you.
And then not only that, but the sandwich turns around and say, fuck you, it's your fault.
Yeah.
The only time you'll stick with a woman for any length of time is if she's completely insane and you're thrown off by
or rich.
Either way it goes, I'm not spending a whole lot of money. But I just felt like that character wasn't very, very well written for what they tried to do. I'm not saying that she couldn't be like a flawed character and he couldn't take the blame later, but write it more convincingly. That's all I wanted to do.
I thought it worked just fine because it was a whole like, hey, this is going to be great. I don't think so. And then later like, hey, you're right, this is great. No, this sucks actually.
Yeah, I didn't have so much of a problem with her. I thought at worst maybe she was a little bland at points, but they do give her a couple sequences where she gets to have fun and kind of break out of the usual same old Jennifer Aniston thing. There's a thing where she's on like some sort of peyote type
ayahuasca.
Yeah, which I don't even know if that's real.
It's real.
Is it real?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's had it.
But we've seen a lot of people tripping scenes in movies, and I actually thought that was fun.
That was great. That was actually a great scene.
Yeah, matter of fact, and you know what? It's little scenes like that, like where so often this is like that kind of generic Judd Apatow movie, very similar to Role Models, as we were bringing up the other day. And yet, ever so often, like with the tripping scene, they'll do something creative. Where I go like, you know what? They took a little bit further than they had to, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it was little things like that kept it fresh.
And that's what makes it work.
Just little spikes.
But that was almost the drop-off point for me, really. That point where it was like, okay, now I'm getting less returns than I'm ready for this to end or just change drastically. Because it was like they had to milk every last possible joke out of it. I think you did it 20 minutes
Nobody
before.
braided their pubes.
Yeah, I mean...
Were you wanting that to happen?
No, I wasn't wanting that to happen. But in every other hippie movie, and every other hippie cliche I see, they manage a way to throw that in there. There's some scene where they just throw in somebody having ridiculously long arm hair.
Because that sounded like a complaint. Nobody braided their pubes.
No, I'm saying it like that.
Where were the cornrows on the penis?
There was a quite funny moment in the end. Like the last 5 minutes has a couple funny jokes and a funny cameo appearance that make it worth sitting all the way through this film. But yeah, I like I said, I think I was only with it for the first hour, and then I just kind of dropped back away.
Well, what would you give it then?
Oh, you know what? Like I said, there's enough that's funny here, and surprisingly, I laughed out loud several times during that first hour, but I was completely quiet. Give it a low matinee.
I agree that there are a lot of great laughs in this movie. There's a lot, and I'm sure everybody heard me laughing out loud at them. But it's funny how a sloppily written third act can affect even the technical aspects of this film. Like, I thought the last 30 or 40 minutes were edited really bad. And it's because of that I want to give it more, but I can't go beyond a rental. And that's a very highly recommended rental. It's just frustrating because you can tell it's an idea that went great for a while until they didn't know what to do with it, and they just rushed it out from there.
I don't know that I'm all that different from you guys, but I do think I liked it more. And whereas I looked at it as like, wow, this is one of those low-level Judd Apatow movies that actually had more going for it than usual, and actually managed to surprise me and have throughout the entire hour and a half of it had enough jokes to sustain me. And sure, there's some that fall flat, and I don't know, I didn't see that there weren't that many jokes that made me groan, but there's plenty that just went. I was just kind of like, no. Okay, but that was also a lot that had me laughing. Now, one of the things that had me laughing was I was sitting next to the co-host who was laughing almost through the entire thing.
And see,
I'm absolutely opposite side of all of us from him, and I could still hear him the whole way through going,
yeah, he was doing that. And he was really making me laugh. Now, it wasn't like when Adam Sandler's playing a monkey, because I was like, wait, is this one of those things?
Wait, somebody say Adam Sandler?
I was about to say, I know you sit up there taking joy from it. I'm like, this boy says to be laughing at Adam Sandler.
No, movies. I know. There were times when I was laughing based on his laugh, and I had to check. Like, wait, was that like a Adam Sandler joke? No, that was actually funny. Okay, all right, good. I'm having a good time. And so the movie entertained me more than I expected to. But I know it's one of these things where this son of a bitch sets me up to where I'm like, hey man, we really liked that movie, didn't we? And I go like, hey, I'm giving it a matinee. And he goes like, yeah, I hate to break your heart, Leon, but I'm gonna give it some old bullshit. I'm like, what?
He laughs out of hatred sometimes. I see him laugh all the way through a movie, then turn around and give it a fuck you. Laughing. He's like, no, I was laughing because I was like, man, this sucks.
Yeah. I was laughing because there's an old man in the background just trying to figure out what to do.
See that guy in the back?
No, I mean, I'll okay, look. I'm going to give it a matinee, all right? I'm giving it a matinee because I was expecting this movie to be complete dog shit. I do not look forward to watching movies about fucking hippies. I just don't care for them. But this, the pacing was a bit off at the beginning. It found its footing and then lost it again, found it and then lost it again. So it was a really uneven movie for me. But the parts that were funny and the parts where they decided to take that extra mile worked, and I actually enjoyed it.
It's so funny when you two sit together, and I'm sitting like 2 or 3 seats down from you, because y'all sound like a fucking coven over there. You sound like an old warlock, and he sounds like a witch. Because you sit up there, you do this, and he's like. It's like a Jabba in the goddamn Salacious Crumb. Like, what the fuck is going on over there?
Fair comparison.
Damn, I'm going to sit next to Return of the Jedi over here.
Salacious is cool.
I'm just enjoying a movie. Called Jabba.
This place is incredible.
I actually feel like I'm a part of something that's real.
What is this?
Ayahuasca tea.
Reeks like a cat butt.
It has hallucinogenic properties.
I can fly!
You can't fly!
I believe I can fly!
If you're gonna get literal with an R. Kelly song, do Trapped in the Closet!
Wanderlust.
So, I'm light on your bio. You know, man, is it cool if maybe we talk about this later?
Take your time.